Hey, I'm Lane, and welcome back to my channel. Hope you're all okay, and that you're all having a great day, and that the weather isn't so crap with you. It's not crap here, it's lovely and sunny, but I'm stuck indoors because I got a delivery. Yay, delivery. Everyone likes deliveries. So, this video will be part 1 of, I don't know how many parts, probably four parts. But what I'm going to be doing in this part is I'm going to be explaining basically, this is tough to talk about, why I moved and what caused me to move out of my home that I've been in for like 16 years. And it's not a pleasant story. So I will start by saying that, as some of you might have noticed in my previous videos, last year and the year before, I have wanted to move out and live on my own for quite some time. And I wasn't allowed to because my mother didn't think I could cope on my own. She didn't think I had the guts, the brain, the mentality to live on my own. She was dead set against me living on my own, completely against it. So this year, the week before lockdown, the week before lockdown, I was meant to go over my friends to stay for a week. But my mother said no. I wasn't like going with my friends. She even got my stepdad to agree with her. Now, this isn't the first time she's changed her mind at the last minute about me having a plan and going somewhere. Oh no, she's been doing this for years. Years. If I ever had a plan of something I wanted to do or somewhere I wanted to go, I'd have to ask her permission. And if I did, and she didn't want me to go, she'd say no. I have had to beg her for days before to go somewhere. And she decides whether I can go or not. And I'm sorry, but as an adult, no one has the ability to tell you what you can and cannot do. As long as you're safe, with people that you know, you're not going to do anything stupid or dangerous, you should be able to go. There should be no reason that you are not allowed to go. Unless it's like you've got a very important meeting coming up the same day, in which case, understandable, but no one's going to do that. Book something on the same day they've got an important interview, or a meeting, or a hospital appointment. See, we actually have a brain. If you let us use it, you might be surprised by what we can achieve. So, first week of lockdown, my mother decides that because I'm not working because of lockdown, she's going to write a chore list of things for me to do. Now, I do have a photo of that, and I will find it and I'll insert it somewhere so you can see the chore list. Now, she says to me that her and me, are going to sit down and go over and sort out the chore list and see what we have to do each and every day. So I say, okay, we'll sit down and talk about it. The next morning I wake up, she's gone and already decided to make the chore list on her own. Now, that chore list, some of them are going to be in red and some of them won't be. The ones in red were things that she would do. The other ones were the things that I would do. I was doing 90% of that entire chore list. She would do 10%. If I sat down just to have a cup of tea, she would walk into the room and go, ahem, and what do you think you're doing? Or she'd just stand there and glare at me. I had no freedom in that place. She started to hit me as well. Infrequently, but is one time a friend of hers wanted her to sign something, a legal document. I asked why they decided now all time to have that legal document. What does she do? Shh! Neighbours! What gives you the right to yell at me, or rather to shush me, and then hit me, or rather hit me then shush at me? What gives you the right? Where's that piece of paper that says you have the right to hit someone? There is none. So, I get on the phone call after suffering years of this type of abuse, because that is literally what it is. It is abuse. Of emotional, mental, financial abuse. I couldn't even spend my own money without her permission. The amount of times I've been so distraught, I've given her my bank card so I wouldn't spend money. No, that's not on either. That is still abuse. That's financial abuse. And then it went physical. So I got on the phone call to Women's Aid. Now, I have a funny feeling she knew that I was on the phone call with them, because she would hover. She'd float in the background. She'd always keep an eye on me and has to know everything about me. She's even before had to see what was in my mail. That's right. She's followed me upstairs before, so she can see what I have ordered, what I bought, or indeed what my letter was about. She has to know everything. She has to be in control. Last time I looked, dear, my name was on the birth certificate, not yours, to get your hands off my steering wheel and stop being my driver, because I've kicked you out of my car for good now. It hurts to know that I suffered for that amount of time. I've suffered since I was at least 4 years old with her. I suffered for over 2 decades with her in control. Enough is enough. I'm out. I'm done. I've had it. In my previous video, I came out again as the third and final time, I'm hoping, as transgender. Now, I told her when I was 17 that I was transgender, because I didn't know when I was younger what was wrong with me. I didn't know why I didn't fit right, why wearing a dress just made me feel despondent, depressed, upset. Like I was wearing a character, not myself. I can remember when I was about, was I 6 or 7? I wet myself in school. Now, I'm not embarrassed to say about that. I did. So, I did. They had run out of female clothing, spare clothing that they could put me in. So they had to put me in boys' clothing with boys' underwear. Can't tell you how liberating and freeing that was. I was wearing trousers. I was wearing boys' clothes. I felt like myself. So when I came out at 17, I said the words, I don't like my breasts. They don't feel right. I don't want them. At this moment in time, there was a TV show called Waterloo Road, which had a transgender storyline. I didn't know this because I hadn't watched Waterloo Road in a few years. So my mother speaks to her best friend that night, and her best friend points it out. That is what this transgender student had said on Waterloo Road. So the next morning, my mother asks me, did I watch Waterloo Road? I didn't lie and I said yes, because I had watched it years before. And she says to me, you don't feel like that. The TV's told you to feel like that and you're doing what the TV said. So I say nothing. I speak to my stepdad a few times to tell him that I don't feel right. He doesn't do anything, he just passes it off. I came out a second time at the age of 24. This time I packed my things to move with into my best friend's place. I've known him since I was 13 and he was 11. And he is quite literally my younger brother. I'd do anything for him. Anything for him. My mother tracks me down in the car, grabs my stuff and shoves it in her car. Tries to grab me and shove me into the car. I refuse and I start a massive argument and a fight. She leaves me standing on the side of the road, shaken, terrified, traumatised. And she goes. She bullies me that night into going back to hers in the morning. I wish I was stronger and I had said no. I end up with a psychiatrist at the age of 25. I tell him about my transgender, about my disassociation with my gender. So he arranges for me to speak to someone about it. My mother finds out, forces me to cancel that appointment, and in doing so indirectly, I end up discharging myself from my psychiatrist. Now I'm 30. I've lived on my own for the past week and a half. My own place. Isn't it amazing? But yeah, I went through all that. Now this is just a brief rundown. I will be going into more detail of it, but first I need to write it down so I know exactly what I'm saying so I don't mess up. I have an appointment on Wednesday with the NHS about transitioning. Best news I've heard in decades. I'm out. I'm proud. I'm free. This is part 1 of my story. Stay tuned for part 2. It's a doozy.